Wow, this has been really great. I loved all of it. I loved you, Helen, and I loved you young people. I was going to say kids, but they're not kids. They're brilliant. They give me a lot of hope. And I was thinking about neighborhoods that are not sustainable without, and actually when I was called and asked if I would participate in this, I had quit smoking. So that's my contribution to lowering the carbon output, right? 3 weeks plus now. Just in commenting on, the greenhouse gas produced by all those automobiles that people keep driving around, and the person that was talking at the beginning about getting onto your bikes, and I don't have a car, but I was at one of these recently where they talked about, those pine beetles that are eating up the forests, that the desecration and the destruction of that carbon sink is a bigger loss than if we eliminated all the automobiles in the country. So when we're thinking about these things and our impact and what we can do, there's much bigger things that are happening. And so I think that initially when I was asked about what a neighborhood isn't sustainable without, I said honesty because I was feeling pretty edgy with the lack of nicotine, right? But today I think it's without hope, eh? I think hope is a really critical part of what makes this life sustainable. So anyway, do we have some pictures here? The first picture is of where we're at, eh? We're on this planet. We're in that Pacific Northwest there with that little sort of green or black splotch, I can't tell. And that's actually representing West Coast marine, the temperate rainforest. And there's not very much of it around, eh? This rock has only got, like us and the people down in that little piece of South America and New Zealand, a little part up around England. That's it. That's it. That's what is this, eh? There's a slide missing here. I didn't have one that showed this, where we're at. But I think it's really important to think about where we're at and what we are a part of. And there's no people in this one, but there were lots of people and there are lots of people. 10,000 years plus people have been milling around in this rainforest, eh? There's evidence of activity for 10,000 years plus in this area, eh? So where do we get to? I mean, I could need to do this next thing too that Helen was so good at. But I think it's really important to think about because this is a part of where we've got to. And that actually isn't Vancouver. I got a surrounding neighborhood, and Helen was talking about garbage, and that's what we do, eh? And there's tools in there too. Canada is the most wasteful country on the planet. That's, we talk about the greenest city, but we don't talk about how wasteful we are. That's where we came from, eh? We started that impact, eh? And early, this is 125 years we've been here, eh? This is pre that 125 years. We started incursions into that rainforest, eh? And we build and we tinker and we grow and we try and make it sustainable. That's gone, eh? That's not sustainable. That's finished. But it sort of this is really interesting. 1901. These women are watching the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall, King George V, eh? 1901. You think of it, eh? Smallpox devastated 50% of the First Nations in this area. 3/4 of the Haida people. Smallpox and measles and stuff like that, eh? Devastated them. And then the residential schools and that stuff. It wasn't sustainable, eh? Then this is Hastings Street, eh? I guess that's probably the edge of Hastings down around where the CPR tunnel is, like down in that area of Cole Harbour. It says Hastings here. And I thought, well, that's really interesting because You know, if you think about where we're at and the high rises all around and how concentrated this is and what we've built in 125 years, and that's like probably 1860, something like that. Eh? And there we are. This is Hastings Street. This is United We Can. That's what's mentioned in this thing. I've been involved in community development issues in this city for a long time. And dug in the dumpsters big time for like many years in this city. And I know that the wealth of our city is in our garbage can. No, it's not. It's in my apartment. I apologize. I'm a clutterbug, but I'm learning, eh? So that's sort of getting in a bit closer to the folks that go out there digging the stuff. Say the people that we're talking about, eh? This is our boys, eh? They're out there in your lanes digging it up. And if you think of it in terms of a movement of people, this is like a civil movement. Across the planet, millions of people picking through the garbage to survive. Everywhere, millions of us. They have international conferences of waste pickers. And here we are, with our little edge, scratching away at the last bottle and the last beer can for a nickel and a dime. That's what we've got to. And it's not sustainable. You know, it's pointed to with pride as, look what we've done. Look at how this sparkles in the midst of our dump, eh? And I don't mean this to guilt us, but like we really have to think about where we're at if we want to sustain ourselves as communities, as cities, as neighborhoods, as humans, right? The last slide. Why? I think because that's where the hope is, eh? It's like the Chinese have a saying, eh? Hope is like a country road. There wasn't a road, then many people walked that way, and it came into being, eh? So we have to walk that way and know that we're part of a movement. And all of you with your great ideas are part of that, eh? See it as linked into something that can change this world, and we have to change it, and ourselves. We have to stop smoking.